Well, finally, welcome back to the channel, and thanks, as I always say, for clicking on this video. I've not been out for a while, various reasons, life gets in the way, and it's been very busy for me over the past couple of weeks. I've been ill, been trying to get out, and then life just gets in the way. So yeah, I'm really happy and excited to be out for the first time in a long time with some new gear to test out. I got myself, I'm a big fan of Eric Normark, and I like the Scandinavian clothing that he wears on his hiking videos. So I picked up this jacket. It's a Narona Svalbard Anorak, probably pronounced that wrong, sorry, there you go to any Scandi people watching. So I've got myself this. It's a bit lighter than the Fjallraven version, and it'll be great for sort of spring and summer where you're done with that heavy, really heavy fabrics. It's a bit more breathable for me, and I've not put any wax on it. Tent wise, I've got a One Tigris Tetra. They make two versions of this, pretty much identical at first glance, but this is the 160 version. This comes with a mesh inner sewn in, and there's a 130 which is a little bit lighter with no mesh inner. So if you're a ground dweller and you want to shave some weight, look at the 130 version. They say that it sleeps two. You could probably get two people in here, you'd have to be good mates. You'll see in a bit throughout the video, but it's I'd class it as a spacious, luxury, one-person teepee style tent. It's single skin. People automatically think, oh God, condensation, but it's got, and I'll show you later when we have a little look around the tent, they call it a 3D ventilation system. What that means in reality is there's the whole back bottom panel of the tent is mesh, and it's designed in such a way that if it's raining water won't come in or ingress through that mesh, but it allows the breeze to come up. And you'll probably notice at the top, on the front and back of the tent, there's these standout vents with the Velcro tabs, which just keep it sort of out and let some good airflow through the tent. So I'm really excited about that. I've got a new mattress, yes, lots of new gear for 2023. It's a Thermarest X-Lite NeoAir X-Lite NXT MAX. Big mouthful there, but I've been using the Thermarest NeoAir X-Lite for many years now. You've seen it on plenty of wild camping videos, but I've gone for the Max now. I'm getting older and I want a bit more comfort, and all that means is it's rectangular, it's not mummy shaped, so you know the trade-off is a little bit more size or bulk in your pack, but not much. And I'm looking forward to trying out something with a little bit more comfort. I'm sick of my arms just lying on the floor of the tent, especially in winter. And when it gets cold, you wake up with a frozen arm. So hopefully I'm not going to have that today. It's thicker, it's warmer, it's better in my opinion. So new gear, there's also a new stove. I'm not going to be boring you with all that straight away, bombarding you with gear. So I'm going to get my stuff in. It's just so nice to be back outdoors, relaxing. It's pretty windy today. It's great seeing spring develop, the wildlife come out, the different bird life. The leaves are sort of in bud, and it's great to see the seasons moving along and finally saying goodbye to winter. So without further ado, let's get everything in the tent and start to relax. So here it is, the pack size. It's not massively different to my standard NeoAir X-Lite. I am going to make a comparison video just featuring the new version, the NXT and the X-Lite, which I've been using for many years. So you can see side by side the actual true differences, but this is basically rectangular in shape. It's got a higher R value, it's thicker, so it should be on paper a more comfortable night's sleep for me. You know, if you're a gram counter, you're probably going to want to stick with the mummy shaped versions, but you know, I'm going to try this out because I'm a comfort camper now. So, and I think in fairness I probably always have been. So let's get it inflated for the first time, and fingers crossed we'll see what happens. Of course, if you don't want to carry the weight of your electric pump, you can just use the pump sack, which weighs next to nothing. I always used to, but now with a bit more knowledge and understanding, I'd advise against inflating it with your mouth, because you're putting a load of warm, moist air into the insides of the mat, and it's probably going to get some dampness in there, potentially some mold, mildew, bacteria, and potentially delaminate the interior of your expensive bit of kit. So look after your gear so it can carry on looking after you. Well, look at that. It's much bigger. It's like fighting with a lilo inside the tent. Hang on a minute. Let's just get that the right way up. Here we go. Like that. This is what it's all about, folks. Comfort. Look at that. Much bigger, much more surface area to sleep on. Let's get you in here so you can see. Well, I'm on a bit of a slope, but it's just unavoidable. There's nothing I can do about the ground that I'm camped on, but yeah, it's thicker than my other one, I can tell that. And time will tell throughout the camp, especially tonight, how warm it is when I'm going to sleep. But you know, first impressions good. You know, I can lie now with my arms down by my side and they're still on the mat, and I can instantly feel that warming up now beneath me as well. So initial signs good. How good it is to be back outdoors. So I'm really excited to try this out tonight. I've had it compressed obviously for a while. I've not used it since I bought it, and I did buy this. Bought most of the stuff that I'm using now. It's an Enigma quilt, but it's a little bit of a hybrid, if we can call it that, because whilst it is open and there's no zip, it is like a quilt. The Enigma, this one, has a sewn in foot box, so your feet, you know, just slide your feet in there. That is enclosed. The foot box area is absolutely superb quality. It really is. It's one of those things where unless you see it sort of up close and touch it and have a bit of a smell of it, you don't actually get, you know, the perspective on how good the quality is. So it's probably going to take a couple of hours, well, a good couple of hours to loft up to its full potential. And you'll notice these tabs here when I open the quilt, and it's supplied with a couple of elastic straps, and what you can do is use those to go round underneath, 2 of them underneath your sleeping pad, and they will hold the quilt in place. I'm not going to use them tonight. I'm going to try it without. I brought them along just in case, but there is a way of making sure that the quilt stays attached to your sleeping bag underneath. Attach on there underneath your sleeping pad, and then there's one of those on the other side. But I'm just going to use it like a quilt, you know, when you go to sleep in your normal bed. But the down is ethically sourced, top quality. I think it's 850 fill off the top of my head. But yeah, I cannot wait to use this. Obviously it packs down smaller and it's lighter than a sleeping bag because there's no zips and there's a little bit less material involved. So I could be a quilt convert. Let's see what happens. So it's almost time for the first beer. We're just making a few finishing touches. I'm going to get my pillow out and I'm going to let that sort of decompress. This was off the lads for my 41st birthday in the Lake District, what feels now like an absolute age ago. But it's a nice pillow by Thermarest, and it's a bit of a luxury touch. I like to sleep quite high, so I still do bring along one of those inflatable jobs. But yeah, this is like ultimate comfort. I suppose you could use it like that, but that's in its sort of compressed form with a bit of an elastic toggle on, and you just kind of let it roll out. But this needs to decompress because it's been in that, you know, I was going camping a couple of weeks ago and everything changed, so, but I've left it compressed, schoolboy error. So I'm going to leave it, you know, hours, and that'll do its thing. It's just got loads of foam sort of cylinders in there, offcuts. It's Thermarest sort of being eco-friendly and minimising the waste, and they put offcuts from the mats and use that as filling for the pillows. So kudos Thermarest for that one. Not much to be done, I'll be honest. That is pretty much it. I've got a new light somewhere, so that's going to be interesting. I'll show you that when it gets dark. Food wise, let's see, I can't remember which one I brought or which one I brought along with me. Beef stew, storfagriet, have some of that. There we go, beef stew, so that's going to be nice. We've got a little Faith, a rattle and rum and oak chip stout, lovely stout there. And this is one of my favourites. It's absolutely lovely if you've had it. I know some people have, they've mentioned that. A Heathen Hazy IPA, absolutely sublime. I'm going to put those in the brook, let them cool down, and then I'm going to stop talking and relax and just do nothing. I'm going to listen to the sound of that brook, listen to the wind and the beech trees, and enjoy what I love about the great outdoors. So for me, this is what it's all about. You know, I obviously enjoy my gear and my camping equipment, and I enjoy trying new bits of gear out, but when you've got camp set up and you're just relaxing and you've got great weather like this, you're able to sit outside your shelter. I'll spin you around, and you know, I've just been having a bit of a lie down, bit of a snooze, and now I'm just out enjoying the breeze, nice feeling of warm sun on my face, and this is my view. top shelter, nice and cozy. Plenty of room in there, luxurious for one. You can just see the vent peeking up at the back there, and it's probably time to enjoy the first beer. So it's a mini can of Faith, which is basically a nice hazy pale ale. So let's get into that. And here's to the great outdoors and first camp again in a very long time. That's what it's all about, keeping the faith. Cheers everyone. Well, it's time for the evening meal, that lovely beef stew, and I'm going to be using a new stove to boil the water to cook that meal up. It's by Fire Maple and it's called a Mars Radiant stove system. I've never used a stove from Fire Maple like this before, and the closest stove I've got to this kind of system is my MSR reactor, which is really old now, and it uses a special type of burner called a radiant ring burner. Doesn't look too dissimilar, but you know, I've never used this one before. I've had a test fire up in the house just to make sure it actually works before I commit to bringing it out on a camp. But you basically get a bit of a mesh storage sack for it. You get the cooking vessel itself with the usual clear top with some venting holes, a nice rubber lid which is not going to get hot to the touch, and inside the stove is the main bit, the actual burner head itself. It's this kind of big chunky radiant ring burner, that's what they're called, and that just refers to how the gas is actually ignited and you know, burnt in this type of stove. You get these feet in the bottom, it's got these 3 feet which just twist out, and you've got this flexible hose with like a bit of a metal sheath around it just to protect it. Obviously that end goes onto your gas, and the cooking vessel will sit directly on top of this. Now I've had a bit of a chat with Fire Maple, and at the moment they're making a few tweaks to it in that the pot supports are use other cookware. You can't use that with stainless steel at the moment because there's some reflectivity melting the pot support which they supply with this. That doesn't affect it if you're just using the supplied cooking vessel on the stove itself. I wouldn't be using any other pans with it, I just use it as is, so that doesn't affect me. But yeah, we'll get some water in, we'll get it boiled up, and we'll kind of see how this one performs. But it's the Mars Radiant system by Fire Maple. So to ignite this, use a match, a lighter, or in this case a fire steel. Just have a listen. There we go. It's quite hard to hear when it's windy, when the gas is actually being ignited, but that clearly is. You can see the heat haze coming off it, and it's just starting to glow red, which it will do when it gets to operating temperature. And it's just a case of putting your cooking vessel on, and that's it. We're just going to crudely time this one. Clocks, stopwatch. So bear in mind it was on a couple of seconds before, but let's see. some real food and a real Thermat. That's a rolling boil now. So 2 minutes, maybe just over. About 400 ml of water. That ain't bad, is it? That is not bad. And of course, when you've got an efficient stove, you're going to use less gas and save yourself money in the long run. So like rice, peppers, mushrooms, chunks of beef. It's a nice one. Not forgetting our special beer to have with it. And go with the Heathen. Enjoy that. Oh, it's so nice to be out, especially in this spot. Absolutely love it here. First things first, blow off the tsetse flies. I am joking, by the way. Some people have pointed out in the past that there's no tsetse flies in the UK. I'll just leave that there. So yes, Heathen. It's a bit of a strong one, 7.2, but it's got to be done. Especially on the first wild camp in a long time. There's almost a sherbet-like aroma on that one. Lovely. And then we don't want that to spill. That'd be disastrous. The old beef stew. Just get a little bit. I'm not going to sit here and eat the entire thing on camera. I just hate it. It's horrible, isn't it? Especially when you've got a mic right by your mouth. But it's nice, really hearty, warming, really flavourful. These meals are expensive, but in my opinion are worth it. Shout out the Fell store. Got it from there. Support your local businesses, never been more important. And the Fell store are great. I'll leave links below this video. Not sponsored, bought it myself, like most of the things I'm using. You know, just get out there and support local businesses. Like I say, current climate, it's never been more important. I'm going to shut up, I'm going to eat my food, drink my beer, then we'll get out, have a little bit of an explore, and I will speak to you in a bit. And this is it, golden hour in the great outdoors. You've got your shelter set up, lovely sunburst, setting sun, capture that. Nothing but the sound of the wind in some pine needles and the beech twigs. Absolutely priceless. And it is so relaxing, so mindful. I've missed it so much. And whenever you have a bit of a break, you know, a bit of an extended break from the wild camping hobby, it almost sort of gives you a new appreciation for just how much you enjoy it. You know, you forget, you get swept along by life, and you know, when stresses are happening and life events, which it comes from time to time, peaks and troughs, that's life. It's how you deal with them that matters. You know, I haven't been able to get out for ages. It's like, you know, I've almost forgotten. I used to be in the swinger, out, filming, editing, get the video uploaded, replying to comments, and the stats on the channel are just, you know, they start plummeting. You know, when you're not putting the content out there, feeding that algorithm, you know, it's difficult, isn't it, to keep up with. So, you know, I'd like to keep growing the channel. I'm pushing for that big 20k. I'm around 18.5, which I'm really grateful for. Thanks to each and every one of you who's subscribed to MCM Outdoors. But I'm just trying to get over that hill. You know, that last bit of a push to try and hit that magical 20k. And, you know, for me, if I hit that figure, I'm happy. Yeah, be my dream one day to get one of those silver play buttons on my wall. You know, I'd feel like I've achieved something pretty tough, and kudos to everyone who's gone out there and done that. It's an absolutely amazing achievement. So I'll forget about that one. I'll dream about that one. But if you can hit that 20k, you can spread the word and subscribe, and maybe share this video if you enjoy it, or tell a friend if they're into wild camping. I would really appreciate that. So have a think about it and leave me a comment if you've liked the video. Please don't just watch. I know it's like, well, don't tell me what to do. I'm just saying, please, just leave a comment, even if it's a hello or you enjoyed the vid and you don't want anything back. I will at least heart it to show you've liked it, and I'll try my very best to get back to each and every comment on the channel as well. So yes, I'm just gonna stay outside the tent just until that sun disappears, have a little meander around my immediate environment. I've got another lovely stout. We'll have a look at that fantastic light and get that hygge feeling, that Scandinavian word. I've probably pronounced it completely wrong. If there's any Scandinavian people watching this, please correct me, tell me how to pronounce it in the comments. But it means a certain quality of coziness, i.e. high quality coziness. You know, you're all cozy, snug, blanket on, fire on, candles on, lights low, when you feel nice and content and cozy. Hygge, H-Y-G-G-E, that's the word. So I like to embrace that on my camps if I can. So in terms of upcoming content, hopefully there's a lot more to come. I've got just heard some bizarre twigs cracking over there. It could be the beast of the moors. More wild camps coming up. I'm doing a hammock camp next with some Ticket to the Moon hammock camping gear. Fantastic company, but you know, I can talk for Britain, so I'll shut up about that. Just wait for the video to come out. I haven't done a hammock camp for ages, so I'm really looking forward to having a nice dangle in the breeze and relaxing in a hammock. So I'll enjoy this last bit of light and speak to you shortly. Well, that was lovely, a nice little explore, and I hope you've enjoyed some of the music and sights and sounds of this lovely area. It's always important, isn't it, whenever you go? People always say, where is it? If you know this one, I'm not putting it in the title. No, it's not being selfish or, you know, tight. It's just to look after places. You know, there's a bit of litter I've seen on my way in. People just come, there's a load of empty cans in a plastic bag. So they've drunk the beer, put it in a bag and just left the bag. Yeah, I'm not going to go into it. So that's why I don't put the, you know, the exact location anymore. Those that do know this area, well, if you come here, be respectful and, you know, take some things out with you. Let's look after it. Anyway, rum and oak chip stout, 7.4. I'm supposed to be being good, but I was on this camp, so I thought it wouldn't be a wild camp for me without a few beers. So I've had it before. It smells like rich raisins and rum. Yeah, it's a winner. It's a really good one. Morrison's, so nice trip, just what I needed. Bit of a new light by Tigris Light with a K. It's a CL2, and yeah, I do like my ambience, and I mentioned Hugo, that certain bit of a cozy feeling when you're in camp, and you can achieve that with lighting. And so I'm always interested to try different lights out and see the different effects they give. So this one is a Tigris CL2. It's a folding camping light, so it comes in this bit of a cloth bag with a drawstring. Let's get straight to it. Couple of features I'll just run you through, and then when it goes dark, when you're watching the video, the illumination will be from this. It doubles up as a power bank as well. It's also got a torch function and a bit of an SOS and a flashing red beacon function. But it was quite interesting because these sort of square sections at the top, they fold out. Looks like a TIE fighter or something off Star Wars, but you've got a rubberized loop there and also an attachment for a tripod. So if you're like me and you talk to a video camera on your own and you want to be backlit or lit for that, you can plug it into a tripod and use it as a handy fill light and just change the angle of these just to achieve different lighting effects. Really simple operation. It's just one push button, once for on, 2, 3, and a cool light and off. So yeah, it doesn't get more complicated than that. It's just a low, medium and a high in these warm light settings, and then the fourth click is this white, sort of like, I don't know if you like doing a makeup artist or something like that, they have quite an intense white light. So there you go, probably look horrendous or hideous, the beast of the moors. So that's that. If you press and hold, you get this torch feature, which is, to be fair, quite bright, and we'll have a look at that when we lose all the light later on. It's got a bit of an LED that lights up, that tells you, you know, battery gauge, how much you've got left. There's 4 LEDs which gradually go out the more you use the light. And yeah, if I press and hold it, we get this bit of a red strobe mode, and I think there's an SOS. Yeah, bit of an SOS. So they're all your features, and you can obviously use it as a power bank as well. It's got a bit of weight to it, so it might lend itself a little bit more to campsite camping if you don't like lugging things, like heavy things up fells. But for me, I don't mind carrying that bit of extra weight. And of course, big battery in there, 10,400 milliamp hours. So whatever you're not using for your light, you can always just give your phone a quick burst or something like that. But it's a nice warm glow, and I'm going to, when I'm in my tent later, use that. Just going to leave it on the floor, lean it against, you know, 2 of these things, and yeah, just enjoy this nice warm lamp around camp. Or of course, you'd have it like that, whatever you want to do. But nice bit of kit, something a little bit different with some decent features and some good build quality as well. Well, it's nice and cozy in here now. I cannot wait to get my little sleep under my quilt. It's fully lofted now, so much more so than, you know, when I get out the compression bag, you know, storing it in that. Gets its loft, and it obviously gets so much more sort of insulation as it puffs up and lofts. This new mat, one of the other things they've done as well, they've made it quieter. If you remember the old one, some of the complaints from people, although it never really bothered me, where it was like sleeping on a crisp packet. Listen to this. Totally different. When I make the comparison vid, you'll be able to tell when I've got them side by side, but you cannot hear. You know, it sounded like they've got some kind of reflective material in the baffles inside on the old version. You do not get that on this, so again, just kudos. You've managed to you know, listen to some of the feedback, and they've improved this mat so much, and I cannot wait to go lights out and, you know, get good sleep on this. It's totally different, and it's obviously thicker. You know, we'll go into all that, like I say, in a future video, but yeah, it's going to be so comfy in here tonight. Good morning everyone. That was a noticeably comfier night's sleep. The extra sort of area on this rectangular mat did make a difference. The quilt was ace, nice and warm. I didn't have those restricted shoulders. I've got no pain in my back, which I normally get when I'm sort of like, you know, tied together in those mummy shaped bags, so that was nice. There is no condensation whatsoever in this single skin tent. Yes, there's a bit of a breeze, so that always helps, but essentially the airflow in here and the system that they've got appears to work. I'll just show you. This is sort of where I've slept, so my head's been here, been breathing around here overnight, which is normally where you'd expect it, in the corners and stuff like that, and there's absolutely none there. If we look around the other side, right here, and I was sleeping this way, breathing out that way for the majority of the night, but look at this vent, and that runs all the way down towards my feet, so that air flow would come in there, up and out. So it works, and the floor, sorry, it's bone dry, so I am impressed. Nice bit of kit, One Tigris, well done. And just for anyone that's interested, a quick scan round the interior of this tent. Probably the sleeping quarters. I'm 6 foot tall, I've got plenty of room in here. I'm just showing you the width really, obviously I'm sat up. That's a full size, you know, max rectangular mat, obviously, you can see it there. It's obviously a bit messy in here, but you've got full height, more than enough to sit up. The door has got a T-zip, one down the middle and obviously two either side. And then the vestibule, you know, it's split perfectly in half. How they've stitched this mesh section, so whatever I'm in now, obviously you've got the same in the vestibule or the porch area. 2 pockets, one on each side of the door. And like I say, you know, head height, well, I'm on top of the mat, which is thick anyway. It's more than enough to sit up in. And I could actually just spin you back round again, sit on my chair, which I've packed away for the evening. But I could have put the chair up there and sat in the vestibule if it was raining, and also just open the top of that door because it's got 2-way zippers, just to look out whilst cooking or something like that. So feature rich, and it's got the proper sort of tabs on the doors, you know, that actually keep the door closed. A lot of tents don't have that, but this particular clip just makes sure it stays tight and it doesn't come loose. The ones where it's just a tie always, especially when it's windy, kind of work themselves free. So, and that's the pole which you get with it. I think you can obviously use a trekking pole if you wanted, maybe a carbon one just to save a bit of weight, but yeah. All I'm going to do now is finish the rest of my coffee and pack away. I'll obviously speak to you before we go. I'll tidy up, I'll make sure there's no trace whatsoever that I've been here, and I'll sign off. But for now, let the pack up begin. Well, the usual demonstration. There's absolutely no trace, nothing left, all litter, packed and ready to head back out with me now. Well, that's it. Another wild camp under the belt, and it was great after such a big sort of gap to be back out here doing what I enjoy. Give it a thumbs up if you've liked it, and if you're not a subscriber, there's plenty of videos in the back catalogue. Come and do it yourself. If you've got any questions about the gear I've been using, equipment, anything like that, just drop a comment below and I'll try my very best to respond to each and every one of you. If you've got little ones like me, you know, get them out and try and encourage them to come outdoors, because they are the future. Let's teach them to respect and enjoy what we do so much. I'll see you on the next adventure. I'm going to pack the camera away and head off the hill. Next one's going to be a hammock camp, so I'll see you then. Take care.